Hello everybody, it's Chris, and today we're shooting video for my 5,000 mile review. I shot a video, I guess it was a couple of months ago, for a 1,000 mile review, and I'm not gonna be redundant and repeat myself. I've got a couple of little bugs that I've discovered since then. We're approaching the Peace Bridge as we approach downtown Buffalo. It looks like traffic coming into the United States is jammed up, as it often is. I don't know if you can see it right now, but as we get closer, you'll see a bunch of tractor trailer trucks just at a standstill coming in, but there's no traffic going out. I don't really know what that means. I don't know what to make of that, but can you see that? So anyway, this is not going to be a long video. Before I give you my little nitpicky items that I've discovered since that 1,000 mile video, this guy's going off the road, I want to tell you about an upcoming trip. The next few videos you watch of mine are going to be epic, because you and I are going to the Adirondack Mountains, and then we're heading from the Adirondack Mountains to Rhode Island for another visit. And while we're in Rhode Island, we're going to take a trek up to the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And with the Spyder, we're going to do some mountain climbing. We're going to climb Whiteface Mountain in the Adirondacks. There's a auto road that takes you to the top of the mountain. In Lake George, we're going to climb, I believe it's called Mount Prospect, which is another mountain that you can climb on an auto road. And when we get to the White Mountains, we're going to climb Mount Washington, which is the tallest mountain in the Northeast. It may even be the tallest mountain in the eastern part of the United States. It's just over, okay, before I babble on about that trip, I have a confession to make. I have not hit 5,000 miles yet. So we're in downtown Buffalo now, as you can see. Now I've hit it. We just hit 5,000 miles. That was my confession. I didn't hit it when I started the video, but we hit it together. So back to my trip. We're going to climb Mount Washington. We're going to ride the Can-Am Highway, which weaves us through the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It's going to be a pretty cool trip. I may, I don't want to commit to it, but I may make a trek out to Cape Cod. I've never been to Cape Cod. I grew up in Rhode Island, but never been to Cape Cod. So we'll go out there together, you and I. If I go out there, we'll try to make a trek out to Block Island. I have to admit, I get seasick on the Block Island ferry, so I make that trip with trepidation. When you visit Block Island, the only way to get around is if you have a moped, if you rent a moped, unless of course you take your car out on the ferry. You can't really see the island on foot, and it's arduous on bicycle. I've never done that. I can't even imagine doing that. But on a moped, every time I've been to Block Island, you rent a moped and you can get around, and it's great. But why rent a moped when you could take the Can-Am Spyder? And we'll do that together. However, back to the 5,000 mile review. So one more thing, going back to that epic trip. I've bought a new accessory for the Spyder. It hasn't come in yet, but it'll be in for that trip, and I'm excited about it. You'll see it on the trip. It'll be really handy for us. I don't want to tell you what it is until we start that journey, but that'll be my next video actually. And what I'm going to do is do a review of that accessory after this epic trip, because we're going to put on, I don't know, a couple of thousand miles on that trip. It's like 300 plus miles to the Adirondacks. Then from there, 300 miles or so to Rhode Island. Then we'll drive north for a couple of hundred miles to the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Then we're going back to Rhode Island, and then it's like 450 miles back to Niagara Falls. So we're going to put this accessory through the paces. So back to the 5,000 mile review. So again, I'm not going to be redundant. I'm not going to repeat myself. I will try to include the 1,000 mile review at the end of this review. I think they call it an end card. I think YouTube calls it an end card, where at the very end of the video you can showcase another video you've done, and I think I'm able to pick those videos, and I will try to include the 1,000 mile review if you haven't already seen that. However, there are a couple of little nitpicky things. So one of the things that a lot of people have commented on are on YouTube, on the Spyder forums, are the rear view mirrors, left and right. Now, I will tell you, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the rear view mirrors. The complaint from the people that complain is, it doesn't, oh, here's a couple of bikers passing us. Oh, GS, excellent. I love it. My favorite bike, 2 of them. Oh, a bunch of them. Oh no, that's a... So we've got a mix of GS's, Africa Twin. You know, I almost bought an Africa Twin when I bought my KTM. I almost bought an Africa Twin. That's what I wanted to buy. I go into the local dealership. This was during COVID. And the guy said I'd have to wait like a year and a half. Apparently, the Hondas were coming into the port of Long Beach or Los Angeles or wherever they come in. And there weren't many because of COVID production issues. And the ones they were bringing over, they were just bringing over to the east and keeping them in California. They were selling them there. So that led me to an alternative. I chose the KTM. But anyway, it looks like we've got a couple of GS's, BMWs. We've got a Yamaha Tenere, which is a 700cc bike, and the Africa Twin, which is just an awesome bike. I just love it. I've never ridden one, but I've aspired to own one for, like, since they really first came out. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the Spyder and back to the mirrors. So I'm actually okay with them, but the complaint is, I'm going to get in the right lane here. The complaint is you can't really see directly behind you. And what I do is I just lean over slightly to the left or slightly to the right. I'm hoping you can somewhat see what I'm talking about. However, I don't know it would be a terribly difficult fix for Can-Am to add just a little bit more extension so that the beginning of the mirror is just pushed a little further out. And I think that would solve the problem. Now, my guess is, I've said this on a couple of other videos, that they're going to completely revise at least the RT, if not in 25, in 26. So I don't expect them to make a change like that willy-nilly. But Can-Am, if you're watching, when you revise this thing, whenever you do it, consider making a change there. And my guess is you already have. You've watched other YouTube channels, you've read the forums, you probably are already on that. My guess is your engineers are hard at work trying to fix that for the next revise. The next couple of nitpicky items that I have, I'm going to have to stop to show you. I love this little place, the dog bar. Never been in there, but I love the look of it. Okay, so we're in West Falls, New York. It's this cute little parklet. We've been here before. Unfortunately, there's no shade here. You may be noticing that I took my riding jacket off. That riding jacket is a mesh jacket. Yet today is a very hot day, and not only is it hot, but it's excruciatingly humid. I'm going to shut the bike down. Okay, so just a couple of minor things. First of all, the passenger grips on this machine are awesome. They're sturdy, they're kind of rubberized, so they're comfortable. I don't like the idea of giving the passenger control of the radio, the audio, but that's okay. I love the fact that it's got both heated grips and the heated seat switch right here. So that I love the fact that the grips are heated. However, I occasionally, when I go to the grocery store, and I'm sure there are a lot of other reasons why people would use a bungee strap on that, I occasionally will use a bungee strap to put like bottled water, some kind of big bulky item right here. The other thing is, I think I showed you before, I've got a Chase Harper piece of luggage that has built-in bungee cords, so you can tie it to the roof rack, or if I'm going on an expedition solo, I put it right here. But the problem is, most standard bungee hooks just don't fit well here. You can make it work, but I don't think it would be a difficult task for Can-Am engineers to figure out a way to put some sort of hole in here, maybe some sort of recess where you could easily strap a bungee cord here and here on both sides Minor Can-Am. I totally get it, but just one thing to think about. Another thing relates to the switches up here. So I guess you got rid of these switches. Thank you so much. They were totally redundant. You've got a volume switch here. You can use the toggle here for volume. So it's totally redundant. I'm glad you got rid of that. So there's a channel follower I have. I think he goes by the name The Grizz. And what he said he'd like is, so this is the windshield switch. This is the heated grip switch. This is the heated seat switch. He said put the heated seat switch side by side with the heated grip switch. I guess I'd be okay with this. This is so nitpicky. What I find just odd is that the grips are ahead of the seat, right? The grips are here, the seat is here. So the grips are far forward of the seat. And yet the seat switch is forward of the grip switch. So if you do, when you revise this machine, now for all I know, the switch gear is going to be up here when you revise it. Maybe there'll be toggles here. I have no idea. Maybe these switches will be, you know, on the switch gear. But if you were by chance to leave this, maybe having the seat switch closer to the seat here and the grip switch closer to the grips here. Just a minor thing. The other thing is, I told you about the accessories, the accessory grill screens that I got. I love them, by the way. Someone commented a bug could go through there. Absolutely a bug could go through there. I'm sure a lot of them will. But it's kind of another line of defense, and there's some space between this and the actual grill radiator and the radiator screen, so that if a bug does go through here, the odds of him getting caught in that grill, I don't know. He might like bounce against this and then fall down into the bottom of the recess there. However, if I were recommending, if Can-Am asked me, hey, what could we do to improve this? Instead of having people having to get this accessory, just put a grill screen there and maybe make it flush with the fairing. I'm sure this has some, well, actually, I'm not sure this has some functionality to it. I think it's probably just a design thing. Someone who knows more about aerodynamics or some engineering might please point out to me if no, this is vital to the stability of the machine. If you didn't have this, the thing would roll over every 3 seconds. I doubt it. So where I'm going is, if you got rid of this and had the grill screens flush with this, and maybe had them easy to kind of like screw on and screw off as well to clean it, that would be helpful. So we're getting close to Ellicottville, and there's something I forgot to mention back there when I was talking about the heated grip switches. So one thing I'm absolutely certain Can-Am is considering to simplify the switch gear. So one of the things I mentioned is they eliminated this because you've got duplication here on the switch gear. And I said maybe move the heated grip and heated seat switches to the switch gear. Better idea, and I know you're thinking of this, Can-Am. I know it absolutely, but so my KTM had heated grips. It had a heated seat option that I didn't get, but that was controlled on the display with the toggle. So basically you'd, you know, get the toggle, or whatever you call this, I'm calling it the toggle, and what you could do is, like in here, have an option to control some accessories. From that screen, you could control whether or not the heated grips are high or low, the heated seat switch is on or off, high or low, and probably a lot of other things to kind of lighten the load in terms of the switch gear. In terms of the passenger, you probably want to keep their separate switch for the heated grips and the heated seats, because I'm not sure how it would work otherwise. But just one other thing to consider, I'm going to splice this into the video. I absolutely love this machine. I've got 5,000 miles on the machine. I absolutely love it. If I were to go back in time, the only change I would make is I would have bought it sooner, although I probably got a better deal by not buying it sooner. So I'm going to jump back on the machine. Okay, we're off, headed to Ellicottville for lunch. So again, gang, my next few videos are going to be riding through the Adirondacks on the way to Saranac Lake, where I'm staying my first night, riding up Whiteface Mountain, which will be totally awesome. That mountain's, I think it's almost 5,000 feet. I believe it's the tallest point in New York. We're gonna ride around Lake George, which is a beautiful town in upstate New York. We're gonna do some Rhode Island adventures. We may get to Cape Cod. We're certainly gonna get up to the White Mountains of New Hampshire and climb Mount Washington. There's a famous, I shouldn't say famous, there's a common bumper sticker in New England that you'll see on the back of vehicles, and it says, "This car climbed Mount Washington." And I don't know if they give that to you when you it's not just a standard road. It's like, I think it's a national park, and you've got to pay, I think it's like 40 bucks or 50 bucks to ride up it. So it's a pretty big deal. I don't know if they give you that sticker, if you have to buy that. I'm not going to buy it, and I'm certainly not going to put it on my Spyder if they give it to you free. But my point is, if you are from New England, you know how novel, I guess it is, to climb Mount Washington. I've been to Mount Washington Valley a ton of times, countless times, but I've never climbed it. I've never climbed it on foot, and I've never climbed it in a car. So I'm excited that my first climb is going to be on the Can-Am Spyder, and the best part of all of it is that you're going to be coming along, I hope. If you like this video, I sure would appreciate it if you'd hit like. If you have comments on anything I said, please comment. And if you still do not subscribe to my channel, and if you find some value in my videos, I sure would appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe. Until the next video, which will be on our way to the Adirondacks, thanks so much for watching, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.